Hi, my name is Mitchell German. I'm a chief instructor at the Halifax Ryusekan in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. So today I'm going to talk to you about various methods of doing kicking, mostly Mawashi training, difference between practical and maybe competition, and we'll throw in a few drills in there and maybe a bit of defense. And okay, let's go. Okay, we're gonna talk a little bit now about roundhouse kicks, Mawashi geri. There's three basic types of roundhouse kicks. When it refers to different arts, that there's probably more, but three that I'm gonna briefly explain. There's Taekwondo, WTF more or less. Kicks, there's Muay Thai, and then there's karate. Karate can further be categorized through different styles. I think Shotokan has their unique style of doing Mawashi geri. Kokushinkai maybe a little bit, and the rest of the group probably falls all under the same category. So I got my helpers here today, so we're going to talk about, I'll just give a brief description. I'm not going to spend too much time, but just so you know the difference between the Muay Thai and Taekwondo. So the Taekwondo kick is more straight and a little bit of turning at the end. It's all on speed, it's based on points only, so everything is fastest way from there to there. It's usually a straight line, is that right? And then Muay Thai, they kind of come up and down. And I should say the Taekwondo, they'll kick with the top of the foot, maybe this area, right here, in the ankle area, and to the top of the foot. Muay Thai, they kick more with the shin, and they'll turn and they use all hip into it, and they follow through. So if they miss, they go in. So they're up and in. Okay, so they're up and in this way. So they'll right down if it's a low kick and target area right in the shin. In karate, there's a chamber. So from here, looking on middle kicks, we have rotation, and then the thigh, and then the extension. All right, so from here, it's coming up. Okay, up and in. And head kicks the same. You can demonstrate the head kick. And go. Some styles, or we're all taught, I'm sure everybody at one point, chambering. So up and chamber, more as beginners. I learned that way. I haven't seen it being taught that way in all my visits to Japan. It might be something left over, borrowed from Shotokan in our early days. I don't teach it that way. I've never teach it that way for a while. But the only maybe benefit of a round kick is if somebody was to decide and I wanted to kick over here, then knee would come up. In the extreme case, we would more come up and rotate up at the end over a guard, like this. So as far as bringing the knee up from there, they would bring it just straight up here. Boom. Now this is a huge telegraph for straight on. So we wouldn't do that. Okay, I'm gonna talk about the alignment. So the first we're gonna focus on when the knee comes up. Knee points at the target, and then the hip turns, and then foot in this angle. So we talked about that. But now if we look at the alignment, we like foot, hip, and shoulder in the same line. Some people will lean a bit this way, and then the foot. This affects power and it affects distance. So we don't want that. We want to be in a straight line, whether it's to the body, okay, straight line, or to the head, straight line. Okay. The next part is sometimes people might lean or not lean. Is this good or bad? Well, leaning depends on the distance we're at. If we're really close and Ryan kicks with his front leg, you know, maybe a little bit of lean, not so much. Again, try not to lean. Doesn't need to lean. If he's gonna kick with the back leg at this distance, maybe a little bit of lean, maybe not. Without adjusting his feet, if I go a little bit further back, he compensates by leaning back. What this does is it balances out the center of gravity, so your hips can go thrust more forward, and therefore you can get a little bit more reach. So for example, if I could come in with the back, yeah, just switch around. So up close, Moashigeri, nice and strong. Okay. No lean, it's pretty close. One more time. Okay, now I'm gonna get you to stay where you're at. And I'm gonna move the target back. And then now it's gonna have to lean a little bit more. Okay, still very strong. And go. And still very strong. And then we're gonna go to the extreme now. And the same thing. Okay, so if you can slow down your camera when you're watching, or slow down the film, and you'll see that he's almost leaning totally this way, and his hip is thrown is really forward at impact. So, front snap kick or front mai kiage. This could be a good example of the ball of the foot, and it's usually would be done really close. So you might want to follow up because it's not a powerful move; it's a follow-up move and a specific target area. Groin, you could probably go to the knee, stomach, but you really have to follow up, in my opinion, for power. And the ball of the foot or the toes, in this case. You saw when Ryan was kicking that pad. I don't know if it's a good idea. He tries to put that much power in a roundhouse kick and try to hit with the ball of the foot. It just doesn't feel. You probably, I have a lot of problem with my toes, and I've learned a long time ago not to kick with the ball of my foot, broken toes and sprains. So there's plenty of power getting generated here. So, my opinion, maybe not the best roundhouse kick with the ball of the foot for power kick. An example of where it could be used, if we're up and he tries to throw a kick to the head, if I go to block, he could change and kick with the ball of the foot to come around the block. So this is an area where it might get practical, like this. So this is a good area. Okay, right. So still on. If you look at the guard position, in this case, I gotta kick underneath this elbow. So a big round type movement is not really the best scenario here. So I want to go under this way. So my distance has to travel this angle underneath the guard this way. Okay, one like this. Another one for competition. I might sometimes this angle of the guard and the angle of the shin. When he looks down, it kind of hides the moashi because we're on the same plane. Maybe if I face the camera, you'll see what I mean. So in the first case, I want to go straight in underneath the guard, so I have to travel a little bit more upward and turn at the end. Okay, upward and turn at the end. Same idea. Picture this guard. Okay, this guard like this. The angle of the shin turns over, follows that guard, and turns over at the end. Okay? Maybe Ryan can demonstrate. Okay, so we're gonna look a little bit more on power. So now in this one, we're gonna have the body moving, the rotation of the hips, the movement of the leg going into it, and eventually the foot. So everything is gonna shift and go. Okay? And go this way. All right, so just shift, shift, and go. Okay, going very cool. Probably noticed when Ryan was kicking, his arms are moving a little bit. So I've heard a lot of comments, don't move the arms, this and that. Well, telegraphing. Where you don't move the arms is before you chamber the kick. So for example, from here, if I drop before I go, then yes, it's a telegraph. But you can look at MMA fighters, Muay Thai fighters, you know, almost any knockout kick. You're gonna see the arms are moving. So the arms are moving because it keeps you in balance. You're generating a lot of power with the hips, and then the arms are just going in their natural position when you're putting that force in. So let's focus on Ryan's arms now. He's just gonna let one fly, and we want to see what his arms are doing. Good. What is the difference between traditional kick and competition kick? Well, it depends how you define a traditional roundhouse kick. We don't have Mawashi-Geri in any of our kata. Very few kata there actually have Mawashi-Geri. So what is the proper way to do Mawashi-Geri? It all depends on the application. So we're fighting. We talked about distance. You know, he's throwing a kick. I slide back as he delivering, then he has to adjust on the fly. He has to adjust based on where I'm going to be, and then the lean is one way to gain the extra distance. If we're doing a competition, not so much worried about power. He might add a slide to it. I'm trying one with the slide. So I'm going to slide back. He's going to start the kick, and then he's going to do a little bit of slide in there. So that's completely fine in competition. For power, you need when he's planting his kick, his back foot is on the ground. So you're rotating around, this foot is rotating, but right before impact, that heel is on the floor for get maximum power. So we're gonna focus, I'll get you to focus a little bit towards feet now. For another example of a roundhouse kick that might be considered more traditional, I already covered it a bit earlier, is this the front snap. This could be more of an element of surprise. Seen in other videos from our group. You know, somebody's kicking as they're going forward or kicking to the side. It's a good element of surprise, but it's not powerful nearly as much as what Ryan just demonstrated in the pads. Not good for competition at all. If he kicks to the front leg, front body with his front leg, doesn't matter how hard he kicks in competition, you're probably not going to get a point for it. If it's with the back leg to the body, yes, this is a point. Front leg to the body, considered weak, probably wouldn't get a point. On the street, whatever the target is where you got to do it. Street, traditional, more or less the same thing. Okay. Another example of a front leg kick that can be powerful and you would get a point for it in competition, and also very effective, is if he starts off and he's gonna shift the back leg forward and then kick on the way in. So this generates, it's kind of like that side step he was doing before, but now he's just doing a small step and then like this. The type of competition we practice is a WKF. It's a point system. We also do Bogu. In Bogu, you're allowed to hit for harder. WKF is a point system. There's other point systems out there. They're very similar. Kyokushinkai is probably a little bit closer to Muay Thai. You know, they have a lot of low kicks. They have low kicks and hit kicks, and they try for knockouts. So they're trying to go power on everything. But their kicks are probably the way they are because they're fighting up close. They're punching like this, and they're kicking like this, and their head kicks like this, and there's a lot of leaning on their kicks because they're up close. We tend in our style of competition, everything seems to happen from a little bit further away. So leaning and speed and leading up, setting up with your hands followed by a kick is very more common in our system. Okay. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about Jodan kicks or high kicks. So we'll just demonstrate a few. You guys can get together. So front leg, just the front leg Moashigiri for now, and then the back leg Moashigiri. So everything is going to stem off a combination or a setup of these two kicks. Okay, this is the only two options you have: your front leg or your back leg. If the same, to switch, the same thing, front leg or back leg. So if we're gonna go with a front leg, you have to set up. So if he just goes like this, it's gonna be like a timing. So if his body moves forward, and this is a key for a punch. This is a timing punch, even though the kick's gonna come. Okay. So what we need to do if you're gonna kick off the front leg, if your body's gonna have to move forward, the hands gonna have to distract. So you're gonna have to do some type of fake and go. Okay. This is like this. Okay. Just flip around. Okay, I go like that. Same thing. Okay. Same kick, different scenario. From there, you're gonna go 1, 2, punch comes in. Now he's already at the distance for Rana's kick. His body is just going to shift back and again. Okay, good. So looks the same, but a little bit different. If he's gonna, sometimes he might come in and you might shift back, but whenever the distance the kick is thrown, the body always has to be in this position. And he might adjust based on the lean of how close he is. If he's off a few inches, you're gonna have a little bit more lean to get up there. Ryan doesn't need to lean back to get it up there. Some people, like myself, I need to lean back a little bit to get it higher up. There's nothing wrong with that, but it might be enough for him to see. He might be able to react a little bit easier to a lean than no lean. So it is always better if you're flexible enough to kick without the lean. But in some cases, in my case, I don't have a choice. I'm not flexible anymore. But in this case, he can. But if he's too far, he's got to lean for distance. If he's too close, he's going to avoid the lean. But anyway, either case, whenever he ends up here, whether it's him setting up a fake, punching, and then going, or on the defense where Riley came in, and then you end up this close, and then you kick this way. So it's the same thing. All right. Another option is sen no sen timing kick. So which side do you want to demonstrate? This one. So in this case, I'm gonna say you want to do jab, I guess. So we'll go slow. So he's gonna do jab. Same thing as if he's gonna time in with the punch. We'll demonstrate timing with the punch first. Boom, like this. But instead of sen no sen, the gyakuzuki, this is sen no sen with the moashigiri. There you go. Again. Let's do a couple fast ones. Okay, good. Now, with this one, if the common mistake is you're setting up, you got your vision on the target, and he's moving forward, and I'm moving forward, and I end up being off distance. My foot's out here. What you have to remember is he's gonna go, don't move yet. Go 1, 2 on target. Gyakuzuki on target. All he has to do is lean back and kick. He's already at the right distance. So the timing is basically you lift your leg and you let him run into your foot. Okay, that idea. As soon as he starts coming, just lean back and kick. If you try to go and catch him on the way in, you're going to end up, the distance is going to be off. But you know that his finished position is always here with the Gyakuzuki or Kizamizuki, and it's always a perfect distance for Rana's kick. And again, he might adjust with the lean, and exactly his length of his arms might dictate whether he's going to be a little closer or a little longer. He's just going to lean back a little less or a little more. Right? So same thing. So focus on his footwork, the back foot doesn't move. Okay? Nice. And the same applies for a hook kick. Same timing for hook kick. You want to demonstrate hook kick. Okay. Same idea. Same idea. Just lean and okay. Now, the other part is we talked a little bit about guard position and the type of kick. So in this case, if we're closed stance, I have a guard position here, I have a guard position here. So if he's kicking with this foot on this side, it's gonna come more straight in. Okay, straight in. So go more straight in. Boom. So up and in. Even if it's a back leg, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. Boom in. Okay. If he does a big move, it gives me more time to react. More time to react. So he's gonna be some type of fake and boom. In this case, he's gonna go. He's coming up straight above. If I'm like this, now that kick is, if he tries to do the exact same kick, he's gonna hit my arm without even me trying to block. So in this case, it's gonna become more of a little bit more round, a little bit more higher. I guess you could call this an old washigeri if you wanted, but this is a more practical version based on the guard. Go right over the guard. Okay. So washigeri, two different applications based on the kick or based on the guard position. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna talk a little bit about the other kicks. Uramawashigeri, Yokogeri, Yushirogeri, some jump kicks. Again, what are traditional, what is not traditional? A lot of these kicks, we have side kicks in a couple of our katas, maybe Shioi, Sanchiru. We don't have back kicks. I don't think of any offhand, or jump kicks. We might have Nidengeri in Shinto. That's about the extent of the kicks in the kata. So what is traditional, what is non-traditional? Well, I think it becomes more practical versus not so practical. So if we look at the hook kick in point system fighting, you know, we'll sometimes get two points in some systems. In WKF, you get 3 points for a head kick. So like I said, if Ryan fakes and just does a hook kick with the front leg, okay, again, this is guards here, you still go over around the guard and just switch sides. This is in competition, this is a beautiful kick, beautiful point, no hesitation, 3 points. Is it very practical? Personally, I don't think much power is generated in this kick. I wouldn't recommend this kick if your life was depending on it. Mawashigeri to the head, front leg, yes, that's a little different. You can still generate rotational force and snap with the shin going forward on the front leg Mawashigeri. You see it in MMA. You see knockouts with the front leg, but you don't see too many front leg hook kicks. Now, if I want to do a power hook kick, we have to look at the spin. But we can also do spin in competition. Just before I do, okay, you can do one to spin for competition. Okay. So, in competition, if I get you to zoom in on this feet, so if I can, No, it's fine. Let's do the flips here as well. Just give you a flip it back here. Spin. Kick. Okay. So, in competition, we try to go with the top of the foot because if you hit with the heel, there's a good chance he's going to get, I'll hold it, a contact. You can get injury, you're going to get a contact penalty in our system of competing anyway. So the heel is what's going to hit. Now, if you can zoom in on this end, if you can see this heel like this, if his toes are this way, sometimes it generates a little bit of a lean, but in Ryan's case, he's very flexible, it doesn't, and it might affect a little bit of distance. If he's here and his toes are this way, and I move, he missed, okay? But if I go like this, he's got the same lump, the heel is still there. The heel is still sticking out more than the toes. So the idea is you aim with the heel around the temple or the back of the ear, and then if I go back, the heel still catches, and if I go back some more, the toe will catch. So you just more chance you get a success, and you have the whole length from here all the way to here, as opposed to just a small target on the heel. And you'll see now, if you grab the pads, he'll do a spinning hook kick, and you can see a lot more power generated now with the hook kick. So competition, we have to stop. So Ryan's got excellent control, touch, so as soon as the toes touch, he stops the kick. On the practical, there's no stopping. You try to take the head right off. Like this. Okay? All right. Some other kicks. Front kick. Front kick is a very good kick. Back when I used to compete, it was very common in competition. Today, for some reason, it's not there. It might make a comeback. I still think it's very effective. Again, you're going in, if you're going to do front kick, we learn in the dojo, up, out, back, down. We learn kyage, and then we learn thrust kick. In competition, either one of those is not good. We're just doing a regular front kick. The foot moves in a straight line, moves in. Hip goes with the kick, kind of like with the punch. Same idea with the kick. So from here, and down. Again, we talked about maybe hiding behind the shin. So if I'm facing the target, I don't want to come in too straight. He's gonna read that right in between the guard. I'm gonna go right from there, straight in. Right from there, straight in. And from here, straight in. Okay? An example of maybe a thrust kick could be done off the front leg. You can sometimes he might do a timing and then just keep check with the distance. Come forward. Boom. Yes. Like this. Okay. So that's one example of a couple examples of front kick. Like I said before, another example is a kyage, and again you would pick your target, and you would probably need a follow up right away. Okay, so supposed to, you might get a reaction like this. You have a split that gives you enough time for the second opening. Okay, you're not going to finish off an opponent with a kyage, in my opinion. There's not enough power. Okay, side kick. Same idea. In competition, you see it a lot with attackers coming in, and if you have the lead, in this case he's fighting side two, and he tries to come in and he's gonna stop him dead in his tracks. Okay. All right. Now, traditional. Well, you just have to look at our katas. All our side kicks are thrown from the side. So they're meant to be from the side. Our Shiohai or Sanchiru, they're from here. So your opponents are coming. This side kick, you're going from the side. But in competition, same idea. You have a little bit opening. You're a little bit side two, or not square, a little bit side two, and you're stopping on the way. Okay. Back kick again. Could be In traditional, you could be standing like this, and somebody come from behind. You snap them one from behind. Same thing, side, back, front kick, side kick, back kick. In competition, you sometimes see it, and then this is probably very good for practical too. We'll see a back kick coming in this way. So again, same idea. The foot doesn't come up and out. They move from a straight line from the floor in. From the floor in. So you want to grab the back and let Ryan. We'll demonstrate, Ryan will demonstrate back kick. So here, what we're seeing here is this foot straightens out at impact for maximum power. Okay, so if he comes in and we're coming here, the penetration, it's with the push. Boom, the push. The hip is going to move towards the target. My impact position, my leg might be like this. I might be more like this at impact. And that's completely fine. You can gain more distance, and sometimes you'll even slide and use a body weight with the extension. But we're not going to demonstrate that right now. But if you're kicking with this leg bent, you don't have full reach, and your probably back is too close. You're in position to get time. Where this comes in handy is you maintain the big distance between your opponent and you have that lean with the leg coming in straight under, and it's very, very powerful. Okay, so one more. Alright, very good. For foot positions on side kick and back kick, the side kick position, you know, your toes are going to be pointing a little bit down. Your heel is more forward, and some cases the shoulder might be rotated a little bit past. I don't want to be open like this. I want to be like this, so shoulders a little bit past. On the back kick, I have more of my bum is sticking more towards you, so you're gonna get a little bit more toes down. You're never gonna get it completely up and down. Usually with the power kicks, you'll see the angle of the foot somewhere around between here and here. Okay, it's a little bit different than back kick. The back kick is more the position of the back and the bum coming out and reaching out for power. Okay? Okay, we're gonna show a few exercises to help you develop, in this case, your roundhouse kicks. So I call this the Mawashi drill. So I have a few students here. I'm gonna demonstrate. So the first one, we start off to bow and start off number one. So leg to leg, and beginner starting off, we hold the front hand for balance, and the key is bring up your foot up, hold for 3 seconds, and then down, and then alternate. And then more advanced, you can let go of the hands. So we would do that 10 times each leg, only for 3 seconds. Then we'll go into part 2. So part 2 is just a fast kick. We'll practice with control, so we're touching just behind the head, just behind the ear. So go ahead. And we would do that 10 times as well. Okay. And then the last part would be kicking with the back leg, and we'll do roundhouse kick, touch the floor, and hook kick. And good, that's good. About each other. So that's just one example, and you can build on that. We add sweeps to this exercise and build on and build on. Another example is maybe you do the side kick against the wall. All right, so feel it, you want to do this one with Ryan? So you just up and down. And you can move it along that way.
Yeah.
Okay. So we do like a cross pattern, up, down, and then we'll go side to side, side to side, side to side. And up, down, and so on, and more. Okay? Good? Alright. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about defense for kicks. Just a few of them you might run into, some for tournaments, some for more practical. So any chin end kicks, so coming in, so normal Ghanaian Marae like you would learn, it's not always maybe the best. There's a better option where I'm going to come up and high in case this comes high or middle. I'm not too sure if he could, once that kick starts, I don't know if it's coming here or here, so I'm going to protect both ways just in case. If it comes to the middle, same block, I'm still protecting. Common mistake is they're going to turn, you turn your back into it like this. The problem with this is it still gets you in the back. It does, you might get a majority of the blowout, is probably save you on the street, but in tournament, there's still a little bit of contact, and in some cases, because my body's turning this way, it's easy for him to put power against this block. So you have to challenge this kick and go right into it this way. Okay, so right into it. So this way. All right. From there, this side, if it comes on this side, you just switch. 1, 2. Okay, more by turning into it like this, I can catch this way. Okay, common mistake is catching this way. Damage is done. If he lets one rip like he was doing on the pads earlier, probably not a good idea. So you have to challenge in this way. Okay, in tournament, I could come in and take down this way. If it's more practical, not quite for tournament, in tactic this way. Sometimes, if kicking off the front leg, and I know it's coming high because it's off the front leg, and he'll flick this way, he's a good kicker. I'm not too sure which direction it's coming, so I'm going to do a double block this way. Okay, so this is very common, and I can counter this way. So it doesn't matter which side he comes. Fix one way, goes the other way. If I guess wrong with one hand, and then he gets you on the other side, so just be safe. You can get away with that when he's kicking with the front leg. When he's kicking with the back leg, it's a little harder. You have to read it, and go this way or this way. A good drill for practicing roundhouse kicks. I'll borrow you, Riley. So we'll do defense. Go down on one knee, and he's gonna let some kicks fly one direction or the other, and Riley is just gonna block all of the kicks as best as he can. And we might do this for 30 seconds or so many kicks, 50 kicks, or okay. So ready to go. That's my video. I hope you enjoyed it. This is just my opinion from my experience. I'm sure there's many other ways and many other opinions on how to do some proper kicks, but that's what I've come up with through the years, through my practice and competitions and all that. I just want to thank my helpers, Ryan O'Neill and Riley DeVoe, and my other students who were in the video. Thank you, and hopefully we'll get to do this again. Thank you.